Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jamie Hammond and this is Speak, Grow, Rise, where I share leadership and communication tips to help all of the emerging C-suite speak, grow, and rise together. As always, if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button below and also subscribe so you never miss another one of these leadership and communication tips again. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the best ways to communicate with your team if you're working #suddenly remote, or if you've just moved into a new remote team. So let's get started. One of the first things that you want to do is set up daily check-ins. Daily check-ins might sound micromanaging at first, but when you're working remote like this, it's really beneficial to continue your connection, not just so that you can stay connected with your team and continue to lead them, but also because if you're being quarantined or if you're socially distancing, it can be easy to start to feel crazy. And so we're fighting that in both ways. I like having daily check-ins, both in the morning and at night. So I like having two to bookend the day. First, let's talk about morning check-ins and then afternoon check-ins. So morning check-ins. I think that morning check-ins are a lot of fun to do with my team. First, we started meeting together where we would talk about something about the day. So there's different things that you can talk about when you get together for your morning check-in. They don't have to be long. We usually only do them for about 15 minutes at a time, and we start the day as a team together. So we usually get together around one kind of topic. That can be anything from talking about your goals for the day, like a Scrum Agile sort of stand-up meeting, or you can talk about the project that you really want to focus on that day, or what you can do, which is what my team does since we're actually a new team that got paired up together during this remote period, are icebreaker questions. So we usually do those in the beginning of the day. I try to mix them up. So there are some like kind of serious ones about like who was the most impactful leader in your life, and then some fun ones like what would your role be in a zombie apocalypse? And what we've been doing in taking the time to have these icebreaker questions and in these check-ins is that we're forging communication and connections with our team. So I get to just have a lot of fun with my team and kick the day off. Next, let's talk about afternoon check-ins. So just like in the morning, what I do with my team is an afternoon check-in. So that means that our day while we're working remote actually ends 15 minutes earlier than a regular work day. Once you've normalized these check-ins and people start to get together to do them more often, then people start to look forward to them. So what I recommend for an afternoon check-in, again, should be just a 15-minute check-in, nothing longer than that if you can avoid it, to go over anything that happened during the day as a leader. You know, like I'm in different meetings, some things might roll out, this is a changing situation right now, so, you know, there could be any number of things that I need to share with my team that day that could be different from the next day. But then what we also talk about are highs and lows, or as some teams call them, roses and thorns. And so what we do is we talk about two really good things that happened today, and it can be both personal or professional. It doesn't only have to be related to work. And then one low. And the reason why these PM check-ins or these afternoon check-ins are really important is for a few reasons. A, I get to learn about what their day was like. So then they get to share that with me, and I get to start to understand kind of what makes them tick during the day. B, they also share that with each other. So then they're sharing what these highs and lows are to them, and then the rest of the team gets to see what those values are. So it's really beneficial to be able to do that. And then finally, see what it does is it closes the day. And so then it puts an end cap to the day, since when you work from home, it's really easy to maybe overcompensate by trying to work extra time if you didn't get something done, or to let that bleed into your life. And so by doing an afternoon check-in like we do, then we get to just close off the day so that we can foster a better work-life balance. Next, let's talk about one-on-ones. One-on-ones are, you'll hear me say a lot, are the #1 leadership tool that I use. I think it's the best thing that you can do to connect with your people, because if you have private one-on-one time that you've set aside, you're showing your people that you care about them, that you're not distracted, that you're paying attention to them, and that you want to develop them. The other reason why one-on-ones are really important right now during a remote sort of work period is because it's very easy to feel isolated from the rest of your team and from your leader. And so by setting regular one-on-ones, say once a month during this process, or even once a week if your team merits it, depending on the type of work that you're doing, what you're doing in a one-on-one is saying, we're gonna stop, and no matter what's going on in the world right now, we're gonna talk about you. And that can be so impactful, not just emotionally for somebody on your team, because then you're devoting that time to them, but it also reminds them to get in the right headspace and to think about what really matters. And so in this like crazy time when we're, who knows, there's no playbook in terms of how to go about work or how to go about life. And like we at this point have to remind people to shower every day and to remember to wear pants that don't have an elastic waistband, that having a one-on-one can just speak volumes to your team, and it can also help to forge a connection with your individual teammates so that you can continue to develop them, help them grow, help them rise through this period and after when you're back together in the office. Finally, let's talk about some check-ins during the day that I find to be really important. First of all, because of social isolation and the things that I've mentioned before, I don't recommend only using chat. I'm actually the kind of person that prefers to use internal chat in almost all cases because I try to limit my time as much as possible. So I want to limit the amount of time it takes for me to get a question answered or to get something done. But when it comes to communicating with your team or with someone that you're partnering on a project with, I think that it's vastly important that you take the time to either call them or video call them. Emphasis on video, because having that FaceTime, again, being in that space with them is the closest that we can get in a remote space to connecting as we would if we were to pull ourselves away and then go to a private room. And so by doing that, you're isolating that conversation and you're making that video call about the specific project or the specific thing that you want to talk about. And that is so much better for you, your goals, what you want to do with your team, than if you were choosing to just do that on chat. So I do different things on chat or email. I talk a lot about chat, but the same thing goes for email. There's a lot of things that I'll do in those kinds of conversations, and there will be videos on that later on if you're interested in that. But for right now, I would say that if it's something that requires more than just one question and an answer, so if there's a discussion that you want to have, just call them. And if possible, if it merits it and if it's worth it to both connect and to turn on your computers and turn on your webcams, then take the time to make that a video call as well. These little things that we're doing, these one-on-ones and these AM and PM check-ins, and then also connecting with your team, it may not seem like a lot right now, but in such a crazy time like what we're in right now, it can just speak volumes and it can transform your team in this very imperative and formative time so that when you get back together, you are forged, you're together, and also you're ready to move forward towards your goals together in the real world. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned a few things about how to best communicate with your team remotely if you're suddenly remote or if you're a new remote leader. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and then also subscribe to my channel so that you never miss a Speak, Grow, Rise tip again. Thanks so much and have a great day.